Okay, so now we're recording. So, all right, so this is the point where I'm at. So I did the baby steps and did the program.js and it output the 1, 2, 3. So I can't even remember because I ran this. So let's just go back to that for a second and we'll just show what that does. So, oops. Okay, so I'm going to save this. So the name of my file is program.js and I'm in that directory here. So I'm simply going to put node program.js, but it could be whatever my file name is. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 because those are the arguments for this ARGV thing. So I'm just going to paste that here. And then the terminal outputs this. So from what I understand, and I'm going to explain this very technically, process is a thing. Part of, it's just a thing that works. If you do process, it does something. And then this argv is an array containing the complete command line. I don't totally get what this does. It just works. So if anyone can explain it, I'm all ears.
So argv says it represents argument vector. I know some of it because of C++, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just a very basic, like, so what you put on the command line, like you were saying, just, you know, whatever's on that vector.
It's just taking that as the parameter or argument or whatever for the for the function. Okay. So the thing that what we're supposed to do to pass this baby steps one is it says we'll have to loop through the number of arguments so that we can output their sum. So the goal is to take the array and sum them together. So when this learn node tests it, it will use its own numbers. So, and we don't know how long that array will be. We don't know what numbers it will use. So, you know, we just have to come up with a loop that will make a sum out of whatever arguments are given to it. So it says here, the first element of the process.argv array is always node. This took me a little bit to get, but that is talking about this command line. So like, because I wrote node, that's actually meaning that's the first thing in the array. So that's at index 0. The second element in the array, which is at index 1, is the path to the program, which in this case is program.js. And then the second element is, or the third element, excuse me, at index 2 is what are going to actually be the numbers in it. So now we need to write a loop that will add these things together. And they said that what we're working with are actually strings, so we're going to need to make them numbers.
So we're going to probably, because it is string, we can't just output it being converted to number at the last second. We're probably going to need to, like, above everything, just create a new variable called, like, total.
Okay, total's fine. I had, like, placeholder, but total works.
And then I would just put total equals 0. And then when we
you wouldn't make this number?
To it.
Okay. So this is where I was like, okay, I kind of have a general idea, but I'm not there. So I'm going to get rid of all my stuff here. You can ignore that. So var is going to equal the total. And then
first statement I think should be right, but because of how we take arguments in Node.js, at least according to that other command prompt screen or whatever, it should be that same for line that you have down there already. But I would put process dot in front of the argv. So it would be process.argv.length.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if that was, okay. Okay.
Which that process thing is probably going to throw me off for the rest of the semester.
I know. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you think this is right? So we're going to start at 2, right, for the index?
Yeah.
and then it's going to be as long as it's less than the length of the object, and then keep incrementing up. So I don't know if I need that. And then we just want to console log. Well, I don't know if we actually don't want to console log this yet, do we?
Yeah, we'll want to use
You want to
inside
add
the
it.
loop to add to the total.
Right. So what does this need to be then?
So total plus equals, what did that other screen say? It was like number in parentheses, I think.
Yeah, I think it's this. But let's go look at it.
It could probably be an I.
Yeah.
Yep. Number processed. Yep. Okay.
And then the console log should probably go outside the for loop.
Okay. Okay, perfect. I wasn't too far off. Oh, hang on. But this isn't what we need to have here. This needs to be just console log equals total, right? Or console log total. Is that right?
I don't know if we have to like do toString or anything like that. Like, I would assume that would work.
Do we want to try this? Or
Sure. Might as well. See what happens.
okay. So now we're just going to say node. Can't spell. Program.js. 0. Well,
put node or do the same thing you did before, but put space and then put like 1 space 4.
oh, okay. I thought it was saying, okay, I guess when we use run, it'll do it. So, okay, gotcha. Oh, yay, it works.
Process arguments is basically feeding stuff into the program without actually running the program, and it takes what you feed in before you run it to run it.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Okay. Cool beans. All right, so now we just need to do, what was it, verify? Verify, Learnyounode, verify. Okay. Cool. It doesn't say completed, or is it still thinking about it?
I think
Hold
you
up.
have to Learnyounode verify program.
Yeah, I meant to do that. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. Yay, it passed. Woohoo. All right, are we supposed to be like recording any of this or like screenshots or something? Okay. All right, so now we're going to okay. Good.
Command prompt on my computer so I can look at it at the same time.
You need me to do something?
No, I'm just pulling up
Okay.
the assignments on my computer so I can look at them too.
Gotcha. Okay, so now how do we get to the next thing? The instructions? No.
What is it? Learnyounode?
Yeah, I think that's all it is. Okay. So, all right. Let's go back here. So my first IO, which I learned means input output. Exercise 3 of 13. So write a program that uses synchronous file system operation to read a file and print the number of new lines it contains to the console, std out, similar to running cat file. Oh, that's so helpful. I've never heard of that. WCL. The full path to the file to read will be provided as the first command line argument. You do not need to make your own test file. Hints. To perform a file system operation, you're going to need the FS module from the Node core library. To load this kind of module or any other global module, use the following incantation. Incantation? Are you serious? Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, where's my wand? All right, so let's run that. Nope, didn't like that. Oh, we're going to just need this in our file.
Yeah.
Because it's a var. Okay. So,
Although, oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Okay. Oops, here we go. Okay. In a variable named fs. Okay. All synchronous or blocking file system methods in the fs module end with sync. To read a file, you'll need to use this method will return a buffer object containing the complete contents of the file. So I'll say fs read file sync and then put in the file name. And I would put that in this file like this. But I mean, I know I'd put the actual file, but is that right?
But we would probably want to do, what was it, fs.read file sync. I don't know if we want to save this as a different variable so that we can actually use it later or not, but I would think we would want to do the read file sync and then in parentheses, instead of like the path, do process.argv so that it would read whatever file we load.
Okay. Would you put it in quotes? No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Except for the argv, we have to put the, what are they called, the array brackets or whatever, but I don't know like what number we would put inside of those.
So
Does it have an example of like what it would be trying, how it would be trying to run it?
So I'm somewhat curious. I just want to keep that there for a second as a placeholder, because I'm like, can we just make our own file and know like, okay, this thing has 5 lines in it, you know? Buffer objects are nodes way of efficiently representing arbitrary arrays of data, whether it be ASCII, binary, or some other format. Buffer objects can be converted to strings by simply calling the toString method on them. Documentation on buffers can be found by pointing your browser here. If you're looking for an easy way to count the number of new lines in a string, recall that JavaScript string can be split into an array of substrings and that n can be used as a delimiter. Note that the test file does not have a new line character at the end of the last line. So using this method, you'll end up with an array that has one more element than the number of new lines. So you do not need to make your own test file. That doesn't totally make sense to me. So why is it telling us this? Pardon me?
Maybe they just plan on us testing it against the verify thing instead of actually making our own. Why don't you try, even though it's going to obviously fail, why don't you try verifying the file real quick so we can see like example input from it.
Okay. Cancel. Expected 18.
Does it, are you able to scroll up? Does it like show it all what the thing tried inputting?
This here. No such file or directory. So theoretically, I should just be able to put a file in here, any file, right? Like I should be able to go like, I had one of these, hello world.js.
Would we want it to be a JavaScript file? Would that cause any problems, or would it need to be a text file?
Oh, we can, let's see what I've got here.
I mean, I guess you could technically get clever with that and just put program.js. It'll tell you how many new lines you have in your code document.
Read yourself. Yep. We could do this. I could also just make this HTML. Okay. So, okay. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. I don't think I have a black one in there. Did that do anything? Nope. Okay. So what was it that you said to put here? Process? Do you think we're supposed to put something else other than that? Okay, well, that wasn't either. Okay. So what does it say back here? So it didn't take the file name.
So try in front of that second line of code, just declaring it as like var buffer equals fs.read read file sync.
Say it again. To do what?
Make that its own variable, like buffer or something.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to save what that actually pulls so we can.
Okay. And then do we need a console log that out or what?
We'll probably need to make, I don't know, I would guess we would have to do, I don't know if we have to do it exactly like this, but, and then maybe make a new variable called like, I don't know, it would have to be a string to read the buffer. So it would equal buffer dot to string.
Gotcha.
And then the, yeah, both of those, but leave it empty, and then do like dot split. And then in parentheses, do the backward, or the \n for new line.
After the
in quotes.
split quotes like that?
Put that in parentheses.
Okay. Like that?
Because that would go through the whole buffer and split it for how many times that new line character comes up.
Okay. And then do we need to like put this in the console log or anything?
I would assume we need to log something. I'm not sure, but
well, Should we try that?
Oh, at the very top it says exact. Okay, I didn't read the very top part where it actually says what to do with the program. I just read the hints.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you have to scroll up. Did that
Read a
change your
file.
mind? What?
It says read a file and print the number of new lines it contains.
Yeah.
So we would want to, what, console log, would we want to do result.length?
I don't know. We can try it.
The full path to the file to read will be provided as the first command line argument, i.e. process. So the argv, it looks like we want the array thing in 2. I don't know if that's what it's saying or if that's just saying it's an example.
We want that in the second line. Is that what you mean?
Whereas I'll put it in Slack. Let's see if it lets me copy and paste out of here. So what I just put in Slack,
Oh, yeah.
it looks like that, maybe. I don't know if that's at the top of the assignment. I don't know if that's just an example of similar, or if that's exactly what we need to use. But
yeah. All right, do you want me to try this?
Sure. That's worse I can have it, right?
Yep. All right, we can blow up something. Oops. I can't write Learnyounode. I don't know why that just does not flow. Oh, look, well, we returned something.
13, expected 12.
Oh, because we have to subtract 1. It said that up here. Hang on. Hints. Note that the test file does not have a new line character at the end of the last line, so using this method, you'll end up with an array that has 1 more element than the number of new lines. So I think we need to subtract by 1. Does that work? Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. All right, let's try it now.
So it's adding a /n at the very end of the document, even though there's not another new line.
Or it doesn't have the /n, so, or something like that. We passed. Good job, Tanner. I don't know what we actually did, so. 24 and 24.
Process.argv thing is confusing to me still.
All right, so Tanner, can you just walk us through tell us what each line is doing?
So
okay.
The top one, at least, I mean, I don't really know for sure,
right.
But based on what the assignment says, it's just require FS means it's going to be a file system operation.
Okay.
But I don't know what exactly that's doing, but
okay. But I get it.
But then the buffer is basically we're just creating a string that's getting the input from the end of the command line, I think. So like when someone runs the program and puts a space and then puts in like the file name at the end. That's what the process argv is doing.
Okay, so is it reading this file? Like what file is it reading?
So
it's just whatever because it's the verify thing, right?
Yeah, are you able to go back to the console window?
Uh-huh.
Or terminal, yeah. And then scroll up a little bit. See if it doesn't actually like show us what it inputs. That doesn't really help at all.
But theoretically, I could put in another file name here and it would also tell me a number.
Yeah, instead of that process argv2, you could put in like a hard directory to a file somewhere and it would tell you how many new lines are in that file.
Well, there's no space.
Oh, you might want to put them in quotes, single quotes.
Thanks. Okay, so then theoretically, we could say node program.js And it would tell me 0 lines because there's only 1 line in that. And if I took this out, it should tell me 1 line. Yep. Okay. Very cool.
So
Okay.
yeah, the FS looks like it just means that it's using a file. And then the buffer is just, we're creating a string that's taking everything in that file and putting it into the string. And then the var result is just the normal string splitting that you have to make into a new variable so that we can split everything that's in the file based on the new line character.
Okay, so it's kind of like, I'm going to just compare this. This would be like text to columns in Excel, if you know what that is.
I don't.
Okay. Well, it's like you can, if you, especially if you're like a CSV or something that's like comma delimited and you have just a whole bunch of stuff by a comma, you can take that one column and say, I want to make this, put the text in columns based on every time you see a comma, put it in a new column. Or you can do it by space or whatever character you want. But that seems to be like it's saying, so split whenever you see a line break.
Yeah, so the var result is whenever you assign a variable to a split string, it automatically makes it an array. So the var result is basically making it so result, and then in the brackets a 0 equals whatever is in the document until it sees that new line character. And as soon as it sees it, it basically resets and says now result, and then in the brackets number 1 equals whatever's next until it sees that again.
Okay, so this right here is this is simply just pulling in the data, right? And pulling it is making it a string, right?
Yeah, that's letting someone type the name of the program and then type the name or the file path that they're trying to check.
Okay.
Instead of it being hard-coded to a specific file.
Okay. Okay. And then this takes that string of texts and puts it, makes it split or break wherever we tell it to based on this.
Yeah, every time it sees a new line character, it'll go to the, or add it to the next array.
Okay. And why did we make it to string? Because theoretically,
The buffer should, I mean, it might work without the to string in there. I'm not 100% sure.
let's try
But
it.
the buffer, I would assume, is loading it in as a file type instead of a string. And I figure we're having to turn that into a string, but it
Let's
might work
try it.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think the buffer has a variable type of string from that.
Okay.
And split is a string function, so.
Okay. Okay. And then when this splits all the data into lines, every line is its own item in an array. So we're just basically counting what's in the array. Like if we were to var dump the array, we would actually see the code, like what was in that line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice. Liz, is everybody good? Any questions on that?
No.
Irina?
I know I got pretty comfortable with string splitting because
No.
a database to an application, usually it would require pulling like everything from the database to a PHP page. And I would have to set a delimiter. And then in order to pull to the program, I had to pull from that PHP page and separate everything manually. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have pretty complex string splitting in a couple of my programs.
Wow. Well, I'm very glad that you do. Or I would have been lost here for quite a while. Just doing it again. Good. All right. So okay. So we did that. And how far do we go? All right. We're halfway for the core. So for my first async filtered, okay. Gotcha. Just keep going, basically. Okay. All right, my first async. Here we go. Write a program that uses a single asynchronous file system operation to read a file and print the number of new lines it contains to the console. The solution to this problem is almost the same as the previous problem, except you must now do it the Node.js way, asynchronous. Instead of sfReadFile sync, you will want to use fsReadFile. And instead of using the return value of this method, you need to collect the value from a callback function that you pass in as a second argument. To learn more about callbacks, check out that. Remember that idiomatic Node.js callbacks normally have the signature function callback, error, data. So you can check if an error occurred by checking whether the first argument is truthy. If there is no error, you should have your buffer object as the second argument. As with the read file sync, you can supply, UTF-8 and put the callback as a third argument, and you will get a string instead of a buffer. Whoa. All right. So read file. So it sounds like we keep this. Actually. Oh, that's fine. Hang on, I need to do this. Oh, hello world. This was baby steps.
I'm trying to like read this to make sure I understand what it's asking us to do.
Yeah, great. I know it's pretty hard for sit here and listen to me drone on reading it. All right, so now we're here.
So it sounds like the I guess the idea is the same. It's just
Yeah.
to do it differently.
And I read about callbacks, which was super helpful to read when they compared it to minions. And, you know, whatever the bad guy's name is. So your callbacks are like having your little minions do a bunch of different things for you. So you have one boss function, and then you have all the functions inside that are your little minions that are nested. So
in the terminal, like that part where it says, remember the idiomatic Node.js callbacks normally have the signature function, callback, error, data, and then we make a function. So that's sounding like basically that same thing we did before where it was the var buffer equals fs blah blah blah. So we would probably take that same line and use it, but instead of read file sync, it would be read file. And then there is no error. You can supply UTF as a second argument. So in parentheses after the argv2, we would put that in single quotes.
And
then it says
not a period.
And put the callback as the third argument. So does that mean we would put another comma after that and put function? Would we put that function error data? Do we put that in the parentheses?
I don't think so. For a callback, it should be function name, and this is where the error, or this is where you put the next function or something like that. And then
so we could make
you nest the functions. So then it would be this var buffer thingy. Something like this. And this is like where you put it, something like that.
The callback is the third argument, and you have to string.
Hang on, I may have it pulled up here. So here you go. So like fs read file. So like that.
I'm like doing each assignment like in my own notepad to see if I understand what's going on.
Yeah, totally. So here this has 1, 2. So kind of what I understand is these all have 2, like parameters. But like this function also has 1. It's just like layered. So I'm just going to look over here too. So see here, it's like got this, whatever that source is, then function, and then error, and then the other files, error, values, like they're all like kind of that. So maybe they're calling this the third thing, and that's the second, and that's the first. But I don't know. To me, it seems like 1, 1, 2, but.
Oh, I'm trying to. Okay. Well, when I verified that didn't work at all.
All right. I need my little sharing thing to go away so that I can get to my tab.
So that's showing that in the parentheses, you create a function and it's nested within the parentheses instead of creating an actual function. So when the assignment says, where was it?
So, and it's comparable to this here.
Yeah. So when the assignment says you can supply UTF as the second and put the callback as the third argument. So it looks like we have to put a comma at the end of that then, and then create the function within the parentheses. That's weird. I don't know if I've ever done that.
Yeah. Okay, where's it saying to put where the UTF? Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, so I think I got this to work by just using that point of code in the assignment.
Oh, nice.
All the way back up.
Do you want to tell me where to put this?
So after the UTF-8 in quotes, I put a comma right there.
Okay.
And then I put function. And then in parentheses, I put what he put in the assignment, the ERR, comma, data.
Really? Seriously? That's what you put? Wow. Okay.
And then open bracket, because you're creating a function right after that.
I have a, okay.
I think inside that parenthesis, yeah, I remove that one. And then at the end on the closing curly bracket before the semicolon at the end, put the close parenthesis there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, the whole function's like inside.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, which is weird.
Wild, but oh, cool. Nested stuff, that's usually pretty functional.
Which the one I got working doesn't use the error variable at all, but when I remove it, nothing works. So I left it there, but it's not being used for anything. I'm pretty sure it's just supposed to be for like, if there's an error, you'll throw that instead of doing the function, but that's...
Okay, so this is it? There's nothing else?
Well, we have to do the thing we did before. We have to create a variable and split the strings.
Okay. So,
but
can
instead of buffer, because we can't split buffer because we're inside buffer, it was just data dot split. Because
To do what now? What should I take out?
so I removed buffer and toString
Oh, okay.
data, but I'm not sure. I don't know. When I got that working, I honestly don't know how or why it works.
Is this what yours looks like?
It says var result equals data dot split. Because I'm not understanding. I mean, it's working, but I'm not understanding why data is getting what data is getting and how it's getting it. All I know is it's getting everything as a string. Oh, yeah, you'll want to add the console.log at the end
Okay.
inside the function.
Inside it this time?
Yeah,
So here? Still -1?
yeah, that's what mine says. So like this worked?
It
It hasn't,
worked.
but like I don't know how data is getting the information at all.
So, but I think that's what we're doing with verify, right? Like even back here when we had this process to argv with an index of 2, we didn't pass anything into it, but verify is passing into it for the little whatever tutorial we're doing.
Right. So when it passes information into this, though, it's putting it in. Is it just see? So like the line says read file process argv2, and so that's what it's reading in. And then UTF-8, I'm guessing, is the format that it's reading it in as. But the function part, I don't know if I understand why it's passing the argv information, what it loads into a string, to data. Like that doesn't really make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. So we didn't make our process argv a variable. We just put it in here. So that was our first one, which is fine. And then we put in this UTF-8, but they didn't. Like we could take this out,
Okay.
maybe.
So that would maybe make more sense, I guess.
You want to try it without? So error contents, and then if error, return console log error. We didn't do that either.
That's weird. Your terminal like wasn't showing up for a second there for me.
Oh yeah, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, actually I need to, hang on, sorry. I'm just gonna make this a little easier to read.
So I guess that wouldn't be the worst thing to save the arguments as just its own variable, like you did the var file.
Right. It doesn't matter. You can do it either way. So they're just saying contents. It looks like they declared a variable right here. Because then they use contents here, just like you did data.
Okay, so and then the var buffer, so we don't have to declare that as a variable then, okay. Because he doesn't, it's just fs.read file.
Oh, okay. So we don't need this. Right.
It didn't look like it.
All right. So I took that out. What else did I take out? Oh, our other line that had this whole.
It's probably a lot better to do it the way he did it, where he has the variable declared the var file equals process.argv2. I could see why that would probably be better to just grab that and keep it in its own variable instead of having to call on it all the time. So when he creates the function, so I don't know if I'm understanding this right, but looks like when you create a function in a, like as an argument, that the first one's going to be an error variable no matter what, and then the data would be the second, whatever you choose to pass to it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to put that in? Just good practice? It's bugging me. I just want it to let me type while I have this up here. Return console log error.
I'm just trying to understand this because I'm sure assignments for the rest of the semester are going to be assuming we know how to do all this.
Yeah, I noticed there were like 4 things. It was like if it was like the error, another kind of error, another kind of error. I was like, oh, to return anything, you got to return 4 things.
Yeah.
Return. All right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not understanding it 100% because I've never been able to figure out string streaming very well.
All right. So we just did a little different. We have result.length. And they have toString. We didn't use toString. There is something else here that we took out. Let's see if this works before I go. Nope. That did not work. Hang on. I'm going to go back a bit. This works though. That works. Okay. Do we want to keep going? Because it's like getting late. So
It looks like there's 2 more to get 100% on this. And
Yep.
then we don't really have to do all the stretches.
Yep. Okay, so complete the filtered is and make it modular exercises. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so instructions here. Create a program that prints a list of files in a given directory. Filter by the extension of the files. You will be provided a directory name as the first argument to your program and a file extension to filter by as the second argument. For example, if you get txt as the second argument, then you will need to filter the list to only files that end with txt. Note that the second argument will not come prefixed with a dot. Keep in mind that the first arguments of your program are not the first values of the process array, as the first 2 values are reserved for system info by node. We know that. The list of files should be printed to the console, 1 file per line. You must use asynchronous IO. So we need to have fs read directory method. Okay. Extension name method. Ugh.
Do you have to use semicolons in Node.js, or are you able to, like, does it just use end of line as kind of like Python?
I don't know Python.
I noticed the teacher solution doesn't have semicolons after anything, but I don't know if that's just because it's showing what's happening.
I don't know. Check them out. See. Okay. So we're going to use...
Yeah, you don't have to actually put semicolons. Apparently new line, but just act as them.
Wow.
That's weird. I mean, I'm probably going to keep using semicolons so I don't throw myself off, but...
I know, right? Well, in this one you do, and this one you don't. And, oh my goodness. I don't know if we need the... So this is read directory. And we're going to... This is going to be file.
Okay, so this assignment actually explains why we have a 2 in the brackets after process argv. I guess 0 and 1 are used for system information by node, so we put
'Cause
2. We only want
yeah.
to grab the information from there onward.
Right, because the first one is node, like when we type in node, and then the second one is the file name. So like when I type node program.js to run it, like that node is the first argument, program.js is the second.
That makes more sense now.
Mm-hmm. So there's something here. Node's path module helpful, particularly the xname method.
So we're going to want to do the normal var fs equals require fs.
Got that?
The path module, it looks like, I'm guessing that's called the same way. So like var path equals require path.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's an actual thing, but that's what the assignment makes it sound like, because it says we need to use the path module, which we're using the fs module, so I don't see why not.
Okay.
And then what var file path equals process argv2.
Is that right? Or does that need to not have the parentheses?
I don't think it needs the parentheses.
Okay. So then file.
So this says and a file extension to filter by as the second argument. For example, if you get text as the second argument, then you will need to filter the list to only files that end with .text.
Mm-hmm.
Note that the second argument will not come prefixed with a dot. So if argv2 grabs what we put in after we run the program, would we do like var extension equals process argv3 to grab the file type afterwards?
I don't think so, because they're going to put in the directory. We need to output the name, so it only needs to read the directory. But I think that because I think this extension name will read the extension. I don't think the extension of the file is actually its own object. I mean, own, index on the array.
So how does this? Keep in mind that the first the second argument will not come with a prefix with a .text. It's because it sounds, I don't know. I wish it would let us see example input.
Well, we can. I think it's a directory. I think it'll be like, I kind of feel like it's two things, like a directory name, which would be this, and then the extension name. Because I'm going to say, show me everything in this directory with this extension name.
So the
second argument, here you go, a file extension to filter by as the second argument.
So similar to how, like when you hard coded in the hello world
Uh-huh.
to see how many lines were in it. So the second argument would basically be so like when someone types in node space program.js space, and then they put their file name, that would be the first argument.
Uh-huh.
But then they would put space, and then they would put text or HTML or whatever for the file types they want to see.
Right. Right.
Okay.
So somewhere has to be this extension name. Are we gonna have to split it? Do you think we need split?
I don't think we're going to be splitting anything.
I think that we're supposed to read this. Oh, well, it's not actually there.
Yeah, mine's not coming up with anything for me either.
Yeah.
Except mine looks like it was adding things to, I don't know.
It's just the spaces, I think. I don't know. All right, let's try this really fast. Do I have something called NVM? No, I don't. Yeah, I don't have that. All right, so we have to know how to use this extension name thingy.
So I just Googled Node.js FS for file system and looking at just the Node.js page.
Okay. Here we go. Path equals require path. Extension equals path dot extension name. Okay. Hang on, I'm just going to copy and paste this. I'm not going to use this, but I'll use it as a pattern. So for that, yep, we've called it path. So this would be like, I already got that. Extension equals path dot extension name, and then this would actually be I actually feel like that's what's here.
So this one, I don't know, this website's called codemaven.com for listing directories with Node.js. Looks like, so that var directory result or whatever that we have going right there looks like it's fine. And then
This looks fine?
Yeah.
Line 31? Okay.
This has I don't understand this really. So where we have a list, this says, or he's using something, because he's explaining kind of what's going on in his code, but like the next line right when he goes into the first function there he doesn't explain that. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, so let's just go ahead.
Because he does say, remember, you can sort by file type by adding another variable that does process arg3 instead of process argv2.
He does say that?
Yeah.
It says that here?
Well, no, on this website I'm looking at.
Oh. equal, and that's what you were saying, huh? My word. Is this the last thing we have to do, or is there one more after this?
There's supposed to be one more after this.
Let's make it modular. Oh. Okay. So we know we're not going to use this. And we're going to use an argument. But that's going to read a directory. So I feel like we need to split out what's in the directory. And then we need to read the extensions from that thing. I think we need to step in between this. You know what I mean? Like, if you would, I think this actually needs to be an object because it's going to spit out all these files. And it needs to read the extension name from every file. And so we need something between here and here. Go ahead.
So would we, I don't know, do a for statement there? Like right after we open that bracket into the function and put like for I equals 0, I less than list.length. Because that would give us at least the number of items in the directory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So tell me, sorry again, I equals 0, I, what was it?
I less than list.length.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of like, you know, we can just see what we can output here. Yeah.
And then I++ after the list length. And then
What do you want to?
maybe inside that put console log and just put something there and we'll see if it puts things out.
Okay. What do you want me to put here? Just any word?
I guess, yeah. We'll see how many.
Or should we make it do you want to make a variable for to hold this?
I don't know if we need to, but maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to see if it would actually get
All right.
to the part of the code.
I got a problem now.
Yeah, the commas should be semicolons. And
Thank you. Thanks. Okay.
We have it spitting out console log result, but we're not defining result anywhere.
Right.
And we
That's
can't.
where I was like, what do you want me to put there? Just leave it blank?
Just put in single quotes, just put like test.
Gotcha. Okay. So we have an error, but it's because of this right here. So this needs to be like,
That should be right.
no, because it doesn't have anything. This doesn't represent anything when we're just running it. If we run verify, it will, but it's not going to run anything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if you go back to your terminal real quick, and you type node program.js.
I just did.
Just put space and then put a directory to something. I don't know what.
Okay.
Like maybe dot. That should be the current directory.
Oh, dot. Okay, sure. That's it.
I would think so. Well,
Well, there you
I was
go.
gonna say, do you have a whole bunch of stuff in the current directory?
I do. There you go. We could also just have it output the number of things in there too, right? But there you go. Yay. And that's kind of what we want. That's really what we want this to do. We kind of want that.
So we want it to list
To
the
be like-
name of everything, it looks like.
Right. And read the name. And we're going to have to do something with that dot too. Okay, so let's just get to listing the name.
So var I don't know what to call it.
Does that work or no?
I don't know if that'll work. Those path dot. I don't know.
Do you want to see? Try it again.
I would think for that to work, we would need, because that's going to be looking for an extension name with anything of the thing that we're already defining as not the extension.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd probably want to make a new variable that was var ext, like up at the top, and do the process argv3 instead of 2.
Yeah.
And then down there, instead of file, we would just put ext.
And then we want to console out.
Except I don't know if we can call that variable ext now, because
Yeah, we can't. I don't have anything else called result. Let's just see what that happens. Oh my gosh. We just want it to read the files, extension names in the one directory, right? And this one is mostly all directories. Like,
oh yeah.
hang on, let me just see what would be a good directory. Or maybe I just can throw something in there. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to put in here. Here you go, resumes. Well, those are all PDFs.
We could still test that with just PDF as the second argument.
Okay. Okay, so then the directory would be resumes? Dot resumes? How do I do that file path?
Resumes, I think, and then
Okay.
space, and then do PDF. It output something some number of times, but I don't know what.
Right. Let's do this again. No, this is not defined. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just curious here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 files, but only 3 are PDFs. So they did say we needed to do something, and hang on. About this dot. The second argument will not come prefixed with a dot. So We want to, how do we just output the file name? That's our goal, is to print a list of files, right? So like, let's do that first, and then let's worry about filtering it, right?
Yeah.
So we got this console log, and we got it to say test for every file, but now we actually want it to say the file name.
So that'd
So
be
list.
console.log list.
Yeah. Would it be in quotes? No.
It shouldn't be in quotes. I don't know if that's all we would do, but I'm not sure. It might have to be list to string, but I guess we'll find out.
Okay. There we go.
It listed everything like a whole bunch of times.
It did, and I think that's
Oh,
because we've got this loop.
yeah. Try doing list and then in array brackets putting I. That might stop the duplicating.
Okay. Good job. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay. So yay, we've output it. And I actually don't think, like at the moment, we're not using this or that. We can still output it without those, right? I just want to test it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now how do we filter? Yay, step 1.
I'm trying to test on mine to see if I don't know how to use that extension name because the ext name has to have parentheses and then has to have data in it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this, return the path extension. Okay, so this just pulls the extension name.
So it looks, so if you go back to the program,
Mm-hmm.
so inside the for statement, I put if path dot ext, or so I'd uncomment that var ext right there
The var result?
at the top.
Oh, this one, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and I actually put in mine what the assignment kind of says because it says it doesn't come prefixed with a dot. So I did ext equals, and then in single quotes I put a period, and then I put plus process.argv.
Perfect. That's perfect. Yes. Okay.
And then inside the for statement, instead of that var result, I put if path and then I put .ext name.
Uh-huh.
And then in the parentheses where you have the ext, I put list.
Okay.
And then I put the I in array brackets.
Clever. Yep.
And then I put equals ext.
Nice. Oh my gosh. And then still console log?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to have this in brackets? Curly brackets?
I don't have it, or it should be fine like that because it takes the next argument, but
Okay.
I mean,
Right.
it works on my end. I don't know if it works how the assignment wants it to work. So I guess if we see if it works, I guess we'll verify it and see if the verify works.
Ha, ha, ha. Nice job. Woohoo! Good job, Tanner. All right, so let's verify.
Because the problem now is it doesn't work unless you put an extension name. And I don't know if that's fine. I don't know if that's what the assignment wants.
Ha 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 ha. Good job. Good job. Wow. It is a good thing we're doing this as a team. Okay. Last one is late. Late.
Which the last one's obviously going to be more complicated than the rest.
Oh, it can. No. We're experienced now. It's going to be fine. Make it modular. Okay. This problem is the same as previous, but introduces the concept of modules, so you'll need to create 2 files to solve this. Create a program that prints a list of files in a given directory, filtered by the extension of the files. The first argument is the directory name, the second argument is the extension filter. We did that. Print the list of files, 1 file per lane to the console. You must use asynchronous I/O. We did that. You must write a module file to do most of the work. The module must export a single function that takes 3 arguments: directory name, the file extension string, and a callback function in that order. File extension argument must be the same as what was passed to your program. Don't turn it into a regex or prefix or do anything except pass it to your module where you can do what you need to make your filter work. The callback function must be called using the idiomatic node or data convention. This convention stipulates that unless there's an error, the first argument passed to the callback will be null, and the second will be your data. In this exercise, the data will be your filtered list of files as an array. You must not print directly to the console from your module file, only from your original program. For the contract that your module must follow, export a single function that takes exactly the arguments described, call the callback exactly once with an error, or some data is described, don't change anything else like global variables or handle all errors. Do you get it? Does anybody get it?
Possibly.
Sounds like we're supposed to take the first thing that we have and make it, like, use it as its own thing, and then output it with the second file, something like that. What do you understand?
It almost seems like it wants us to do the same thing, but as the last one, but have it load a different file for it?
Yeah, it's like the outcome is the same, right? Prints a list of files filtered by the extension of the files. The first argument is the directory name. Second is the extension filter. So we need to create another file. I know that's so creative. So this one is going to require that's right, right?
Yeah.
So,
Or
but
I
we
don't
need to
know.
define, sorry?
I don't know. In program 1, I would probably put that line and then put require program 2 instead. But I guess it doesn't really matter what way we do it.
Put this in here.
I figure if this is the main file, then we would probably want to require program 2 in the main file instead of requiring the main file in the sub file. But it doesn't. I mean, the only thing that changes is which one we actually run the program under, whether
Right.
we program or program 2.
For this one, I thought this was the main file. Just like in this case, this is the main file, but we're requiring FS. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid if we put require the other one, we're going to like start having a circular reference. Unless we move this over to the other one. But it says to export this as a single function. So I think it's saying that we need to say this right here. And I don't know that. Oh, actually, yeah, I don't totally get what we're supposed to put in there. Do you understand this right here? We're supposed to export this as a function. Is this right? Or do we put this to a different line or?
That should be right.
Okay, but we're supposed to have arguments here, which we don't have any.
I would do function And then in parentheses, put like directory, comma, extension, comma, callback.
Okay. And actually, I think you might be right about requiring this other program in this file. To use your new module in the original program file, which this is the original, right? Oh, never mind. It is having us move this over to there, so it doesn't matter. We can do it either way. Do you want me to move it, or do you
Are we
care?
supposed to like basically split this in half so it's doing half the work over here and half the work over there?
I don't think so. I think it's just supposed to simply call this. Like, I think it's supposed to be like this. Like, I really think that's all we're doing, is just calling this from another file. Like, oh, we made this thing that works, now let's use it somewhere else. But I don't have a name for this function. Or actually, it's module exports. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Hmm. And I'm going to need to go so are we okay if we look at the, I don't know, the instructor's answer on this one, or, I mean,
I don't know if there's a way for us to, because the assignment says due to the nature of the assignment, it will be provided by the module.
oh, okay, that's true.
Exercise.
Okay.
I don't know if we can even see what it is without actually solving it, which almost
I know.
defeats the purpose.
I know. But it's almost midnight here, and I've got other classes too, so I
Okay.
need to go. I'm sorry. Do you want me to share this code?
That'd probably be good if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll see if I can figure out what's going on here and get it to pass, and then maybe put it in Slack a little later tonight.
Okay, that'd be great.
But no promises.
All right. I'm going to take this out because I don't actually know if this works.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there.
So, and then I'm just going to upload this file here. So, okay. And then I will output this video, this recording for you. I'll put it on YouTube. So, sound good?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Let me just make sure I got it. Program. Okay. File is uploaded. Recording is